This is the morning weather briefing. This is for Monday, the 8th of January. This is James Spann. A very active weather period coming up for the state through tomorrow with a lot of hazards involved. Strong gradient winds, the chance of severe storms for South Alabama, heavy rain, another dynamic system at the end of this week, and then by the middle of next week, we'll see the coldest air so far this season. So a whole lot to talk about this morning. Let's begin with the current situation. This is the upper air look. This is the flow about 18,000 feet off the ground. And you see the big trough in the western states. That will provide the dynamic support for the active weather that will be coming up tonight. Now, early this morning, we're live here at 5:15 Central Time, and you can see a little light rain over the southern counties of the state between Montgomery and Mobile. But the bulk of the big rains will come later today, tonight, into tomorrow morning. Now, with numbers like this, obviously, we don't have any severe weather problems this morning. In fact, some spots are below freezing to start the day. Pell City at 28, Aniana at 27. Cool even in Mobile. They've got 46 degrees. The question is, can the warm sector, the unstable air, move into the Gulf Coast region from the Gulf of Mexico tonight? And we'll talk about all of this as we go along. Now, one of the hazards, it's gradient wind statewide, not related to storms. The chance of severe storms way down in South Alabama. But again, if you're in Huntsville or the Shoals, it's going to be very windy statewide tonight. We have a wind advisory for all 67 Alabama counties and a high wind warning in effect for the southern part of Mobile and Baldwin counties, basically along and south of Interstate 10. The winds tonight, gradient winds, again, we stress this is not related to thunderstorms, could gust as high as 45, 50 miles per hour. That in itself will likely blow down some trees, create power outages, so keep that in mind. Also, we note flash flood watches for parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. And around the nation, this thing is lighting up like a Christmas tree. That's the watch warning map. We have a major winter storm for parts of the midsection, blizzard warnings in effect for parts of Colorado, New Mexico, the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, western Kansas and southern Nebraska. Winter storm warnings in effect all the way up into parts of Wisconsin. Also looks like blizzard warnings in effect for parts of the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. So a lot of things going on here, and those wind issues extend all the way from Texas to the South Atlantic coast. Now, in terms of severe storms, we have a risk tonight, basically from Houston over into Panama City Beach. And the key emphasis here will be in the orange, the level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. The odds of any severe storms over the northern two-thirds of the state are very low. The air should be cool and stable tonight, but again, very windy and very wet. But in that enhanced risk, we have a hatched area, which means that there could be a strong tornado. That means, by definition, EF2 or higher. And that enhanced risk would include basically Mobile, Baldwin, Escambia, and Washington counties. That's the main concern initially for tornado activity late tonight. And in terms of the probabilities, you can see the chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point in the enhanced risk area is 10 to 14%. Now, this is the probabilistic outlook for damaging winds tonight. And you can see that number jumps up to 30 to 44% in the enhanced risk area across South Alabama. So just be aware that tonight, if you are in the southwest or southern part of the state, really south of US 84, I'll put it that way, be sure that you have a good way of getting warnings. And again, this outlook extends through 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then after 6 a.m. tomorrow, we have an enhanced risk over the southeastern corner of the state. This would include places like Dothan, Ozark, Geneva, Abbeville, Headland, Enterprise. And the probabilities are about the same. And again, tomorrow morning in that 6 to 9 a.m. time frame, there could be a strong tornado. And again, by definition, that's EF2 or higher in the southeastern corner of the state. And pretty much the same probabilities for damaging straight-line wind. We'll go through modeling here in just a moment and talk about the timing. And then on day 3, which is Wednesday, no severe storms expected across the country. And it's going to rain a lot over the next 36 hours. Now, this is the rain for the next 7 days, so keep in mind this counts the rain we see with this event and another event at the end of the week on Friday. And for most of the state, rain amounts between 3 and 5 inches. For the event tonight, rain amounts between 2 and 3 inches are likely. Now, the heavier rain will be moving along pretty quickly. Hopefully, that will mitigate major flooding problems, but there certainly could be some flooding issues tonight and early tomorrow morning. So let's go through modeling. Model fans, this is the GFS. This is the 06C run, valid today at 4, and there's your trough. Down below that, a surface low is over the eastern Texas Panhandle, and a whopper of a snowstorm from southeastern Colorado into parts of Iowa and northern Missouri. And, of course, rain to the east and southeast of the surface low. So let's go to the high-resolution model output. This is this evening at 6 o'clock, and we don't expect any severe storms at 6 o'clock, just a lot of rain for the southern half of the state. So now let's go to 2 a.m., late tonight after midnight, 2 a.m. And again, for North Alabama, it's going to be very windy and very wet. But notice that line of storms over the southwestern corner of the state. That's where we could see severe storms developing here. The question is, can the instability from the Gulf move inland? And again, this is the high-res herd. This is the surface-based CAPE. This is the buoyancy, instability at 2 a.m., suggesting there will be some over that southwestern corner of the state. Again, Mobile, Baldwin, Washington, Escambia counties. And if that little sliver of instability can reach that part of Alabama, there certainly could be some severe storms. Now, the shear values are off the chart. We know that with the dynamic system. And this is the significant tornado parameter, the STP. This is a composite index. And we've got the STP up to 6 units over Mobile and Baldwin counties tonight, late tonight. So certainly we'll need to headline the chance of severe storms in that southwestern and far southern part of the state tonight. And again, the bulk of this will be after midnight. And the key is being sure you can get the warnings. And listen, if you take the time to watch these videos, we know that you're good. You will never rely on an outdoor siren. But it's stunning how many people in this state do think at 3 a.m. they're going to hear some air raid siren 3 miles away during a raging storm when they're sleeping. And we all know there's no hope if that's your way of getting warnings. The baseline, it's a weather radio. But you can help us by letting your friends and neighbors know that they've got to get a reliable way of getting those warnings tonight. And be sure the phone is not on Do Not Disturb for those that use phones instead of a weather radio. Now, the other issue, it's the wind. And again, this is a statewide issue, and I hope we can make it clear we have the two hazards, the chance of severe storms over extreme South Alabama, and then the wind issue, the gradient wind, not related to storms. This is statewide. And these are potential peak wind gusts, and there could be a few spots where the winds gust to 45, maybe 50 miles per hour tonight. And that wind will be generally from 6 o'clock this evening until 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this could be enough to knock down some trees and cause some power outages. So you might just want to plan for that. I don't think the outages will be especially widespread over North Alabama, but I think there will be some. I think there's no doubt about that. So in terms of the timing, this is the graphic that I put together for tonight. And again, this involves the severe storms in South Alabama. The window opening up about 10 o'clock tonight. And for Mobile and Washington counties, I'd say the window between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. And then for Baldwin, Escambia, Covington, the window between midnight and 7 a.m. And then for Geneva, Houston, Coffee, Henry counties, Houston counties, the counties there in the southwestern corner, the southeastern corner of the state, the window between 2 and 9 a.m. And again, the outlook I'm using on this graphic, it's for through 6 a.m. And again, after 6 a.m., we have that enhanced risk around Dothan. So, but again, that gives you an idea of the timing. So this is a really late night, pre-dawn, early morning kind of thing. And obviously, just everybody needs to be weather aware. And these kind of things happen in January. I've said this till I'm blue in the face. The tornado season here is November through May. So having something like this in January is to be expected. And we'll get through the night just fine, but we've got to be weather aware. So tomorrow, everything is moving out. This is tomorrow afternoon. The surface low is east of Chicago. And again, big snows, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit. Heavy rain, a lot of wind for the southeast United States. But again, by midday, the bulk of that rain should be east of Alabama. And the highs tomorrow will be in the 50s. I know the low thickness values are showing up there. That's because of the very, very cold air with the trough, that 540 blue line you see there. But again, the surface temperatures will likely be in the 40s and 50s. So Wednesday, we are colder and dry, 40s for North Alabama, 50s to the south. Thursday, highs in the 50s, maybe 60s in South Alabama. And then here comes our next dynamic system on Friday. And this could pose another threat of wind and heavy rain and severe storms for South Alabama, much like the one we're dealing with tonight, and another whopper of a snowstorm. And again, this could be a blizzard for parts of Missouri, up into Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan. This is the instability Friday afternoon. And the instability values seem to be a little higher with this system over the southern half of the state. So the severe threat could be farther inland Friday. And it's, again, like tonight, a lot of wind, a lot of rain. And we can focus on this one once we get past the system tonight. And then Saturday, that one is on by. And we turn sharply colder. Now, this is going to be a really cold air mass coming in here. The temperatures over North Alabama could be in the 30s all day Saturday. And again, a strong north wind is going to make it feel colder. This is Sunday. We're cold and dry. Highs in the 40s, lows well down in the 20s. And a week from today, Monday the 15th, very cold trough over much of the central U.S. And here comes our next system. And, of course, this gets everybody anxious. This is suggesting Monday of next week, a week from today, there could be freezing rain around Memphis and Little Rock with ice potential, snow north of that, northern Arkansas up into parts of the Ohio Valley, with just a cold rain for Alabama. But again, this will change. We're looking for patterns out here. Let's go out 10 days. This is Wednesday of next week. The flow is gone zonal, but a really cold air mass ought to be settling in here. These are the anomalies. This is Wednesday of next week, the 17th, coming off the GFS, well below average. The European colder, way below average. And again, if you take the approach, the ensemble approach, even with the ensembles, lows will be in the teens over North Alabama by Wednesday morning of next week, with highs maybe around freezing for the Tennessee Valley. We'll take a look at the NBM in just a second. First off, rain coming off the European for the next 15 days between now and the 23rd of January. I would suggest that the mean might be a little too low here, considering how many systems we have to deal with. The mean is between 2 and 3 inches, and I think we'll see much more than that. Some of the members are up toward 5 inches. So here's the NBM, National Blend of Models. And again, this is for Birmingham, and these numbers will change. We all know that, but kind of the emphasis is looking out there toward the middle of next week. And notice on Tuesday the 16th, the high for Birmingham dropping to 38. By Wednesday the 17th, the low dropping to 19. And typically the NBM skews toward climatology out there in the longer range, which means most likely it's going to be colder than that. So again, easily we believe the coldest air so far this season, about 8-9 days away. And this is pretty much confirmed by the 8 to 14-day guidance from CPC. There's a lot of blue there, and again, it could be very, very cold for much of the United States. This is for the period January 15th through the 21st. So once again, really quickly, if you're just joining us live, and what you can do is go back and watch the replay here that explains everything, but that's the bottom line for late tonight, tomorrow morning. The chance of severe storms over extreme South Alabama, mainly in that orange area on that map, the enhanced risk. And within that, there could be a strong tornado, and by definition, that's EF2 or higher. And initially, the main concern, Mobile, Baldwin, Washington, Escambia counties, the threat shifting over toward Geneva and Dothan early tomorrow morning. But it will be a late night, middle of the night kind of thing. And then again, we stress statewide, very windy tonight. Gradient winds, not related to storms. We have a high wind warning for southern Mobile and Baldwin counties, a wind advisory for the rest of the state, winds possibly gusting to 45, 50 miles per hour. That in itself could lead to some power outages. So again, everybody needs simply to be weather aware tonight and tomorrow morning, and then again with that next system at the end of the week on Friday. So having said all that, headed to Weaver Elementary School this morning over in Calhoun County. Tomorrow I'm scheduled to be at Little Ridge Intermediate School in Fort Payne. and then Rainbow City Middle School after that. Wednesday, Millbrook Middle School. Then Thursday, Hillcrest High School. Friday, McAdory Elementary School. And then Saturday, we have a big outreach event with the National Weather Service in Selma. And it's really to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the tornado that came through town last January of 2023. And again, I'll put much more details and the location, all that, once we get past this system tonight. And again, for those that are new here, we simulcast these on YouTube and Facebook every morning at 5:15 or so, every afternoon about 2:45. So the next video here by 2:45 this afternoon. Don't forget Weather Brains tonight, our weekly show for weather dweebs, geeks, nerds, dorks, and weenies. That is at 7 o'clock Central Time. And that's on the Weather Brains YouTube channel, weatherbrains.com/YouTube. YouTube.com/weatherbrains. And of course, most people listen to the audio podcast. That'll be out early tomorrow morning. And of course, we do invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.